Okay, welcome back. And before we get into this next section of licks and ideas, we need to talk about the next position of the E minor pentatonic on the neck that I want to share with you. So if you look at your pentatonic scales diagrams, it's pentatonic scales part 2. We started out adding this position, right? And now we're going to move up to this next position. So it would be the second diagram down on the pentatonic scales part 2. And we've already been working in some of these notes because we've been talking about this E and this E. So those are our root notes, okay? And in this position, remember we've been grabbing that minor third already, that G note. And you have one here too at the 10th fret, this G, that you can grab and work, you know. So we've been already grabbing a lot of these notes. And if you think about this pentatonic scale that we learned on the front end, this kind of diagonal approach, if you look at the diagrams right here on that G that we've been pulling, it ties into that third pattern, that third scale that we learned. So this kind of works. We've been working through this new scale already, this new pattern. So remember this E minor pentatonic scale, you can see this as individual boxes. That's how I teach it to people and show them how to connect them together. But remember, it's just the same 5 notes mapped across the neck. So if we start here, this is a B note, right? So here's our root, and it would be E, G, A, B, D, E, G, A, B, D, E. So it's just the same 5 notes. Now, if you look at the bottom minor pentatonic diagram where it has all of them put together, that's basically what you'll know by the end of the course, is have this mapped out, and you'll have a pretty good idea of what notes to grab to do that bend for the minor third. Remember we talked about bending from the 4th up to the 5th. We did it here. So same approach, just different patterns across the neck. The way that I explain this to people is it's like a jigsaw puzzle that just kind of fits together. So if you look at this open position one we did, where that pattern ends, the second pattern begins. Right? And that is true for the third pattern. Where the second one ends, the third begins. Now we're up to this pattern. That's our root note. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about some of this area of the neck is because we tend to learn this first pattern, right? And up here, like we saw for the solo, we get comfortable with that, and then a little bit into this, you know, second pattern, just like Hendrix used for the intro, that he's cutting through that area of the neck. It happens all the time. So it's great to learn this stuff, but we can also get stuck in ruts, and we can just kind of play the same tired old stuff if we don't break out of these patterns. So learning these other parts of the neck, these other territories, is super important because, as you can see, it ties to our triads and our chord shapes along with the other pentatonic scales. So that being said, take a look at it's the minor pentatonic drills part 2, I think it's called. Yeah, that's right. Take a look at drill 12. We're going to play through these in the same way that we did those other exercises, because we've already explored a little bit of this part of the neck, but we want to work this into our technique workout a little bit here, because we're going to see some more of it. So there's the double picking approach. Now right there, I make the transition with that shift right there to 3 to 1. You could keep it 4 to 2. You could be doing this all 1-3 if you want. Whatever is comfortable for you. The right hand, keep it even, alternate picking, and at a steady tempo. So let's do that again. Notice I'm not stopping at the root, but you could. You could resolve it if you want to, that's fine. I just want you to see these notes across all 6 strings. So. And again, you want to visualize that. You want to have the pattern memorized and get out of the tab. So you're looking at the guitar neck and you're making connection with the neck and your fingers, and you're identifying the roots, right, the E's, and these G's. Okay, now let's do the same thing, drill 13, where we will single pick everything. So now, down, up, down, up. If you want to resolve it, back to the E. So again. So I'll mix this up sometimes, like if I'm just doing a picking exercise, I might keep this 2 and 4, so I'm working those kind of weaker fingers. But when I'm playing a lot of the times, I'm going to make that transition because I want to bend out of this scale with a strong finger, like that 3rd finger. Like I said, I bend with my pinky a lot, but anytime I can feel comfortable in a position where I'm not going to miss a fret, I'm going to try to bend with my 3rd finger as much as I can, because I'm less likely to miss something. Like right here, if I'm going to get back to that G, it's my 1st finger. Where on this string, that stretch of these 2 frets, if I try to jump up here with my 3rd finger, and I'm doing that bend, look where my 1st finger is. I might be more likely to miss this note and wind up here, but that's just me. That's why I do it that way. I think about my hand position and what I'm trying to get to. That's why knowing the shapes, the patterns, but also the notes inside, where the roots are in the thirds, that's going to help determine a lot of the times what you're playing and why and how you're responding where you are in the neck, and that includes your hand position. So you want to look down and see the roots, the thirds, and if you can, start naming some of these notes, like a B, D, E, G, A, B, D, E, G, A, B, D. This is you can do this for like a little test exercise, but if you try to memorize the neck this way, it's going to be pretty tough going. You'll put a lot of time in, and then you'll forget the names of the frets and the notes. So if you want a really good, thorough, consistent way to go about this, check out the power chord course where we start on strings 6 and 5. It's different rhythms, different techniques, but it's a bunch of different exercises in different keys that forces you to play these examples in different keys where you eventually you have to know the neck to be able to pull it off. So again, like we talked about, it's a lot of not just rote memorization, but applying the concept to a piece of music. So that's a good course. And then if you're interested in the music theory side of things, check out the major scale, the Nashville number system, keys, scales, and triads. I think that's what that is called. But it goes through every key. We talk about why keys have sharps and flats, and then we actually build triads in each key so you can see why certain chords show up in certain keys and what to expect in a chord progression. So this really sets you up to be successful in, like if you're going to show up to a jam and you know what key, what chords are in B flat, you're already off to a head start even if you don't know the tune, because you know what to expect. So let's get back to this. We did the picking. Now let's do some of the hammer-on stuff. So let's try this one. I'm going to do 1/4. So this is drill number 14. Remember, you want to get a good clean hammer. Be pretty aggressive with it. You need that note to ring. And I tell people it kind of feels like a popping sensation off the neck. And if you overdo it, that's good because then you can back it off. You don't have to play really aggressive all the time. But you want that sensation of nice and clear. Right? So you want to be able to feel that under your fingers. It's not just kind of a dying note here. So let's do that again. Drill 14. Faster. Those are really good hand strengthening and conditioning exercises. You definitely don't want to overdo it and burn out your hands, but a good hammer-on pull-off exercise each day, some picking, some hammer-on pull-off stuff, 10 minutes a day, that's going to keep your hands in shape. Now let's look at drill 15. Now we're going to put these two together, like we did with these two down here. So we're going to go like this, start with this pattern we were in before at the 5th fret. So we'll double pick it. Move up. Okay, so we're just going up one scale, down the other. All right. And if you want to, you can go the other way. Now we're going to go this way. Make the transition down. We're just trying to get our hands to get a framework for the neck and moving between these different positions, because this is what we're going to do as a lead player, is navigate the fretboard this way. So move up. And then the other way. And you can come up with all kinds of different ways to work this out. You can practice moving between the two. Just kind of make it a weird little game. That's what we're going to get into in these next series of licks here. And then if we single pick it, of course, we're kind of upping the ante because we're still alternate picking with the right hand, but the left hand's going to have to move a little faster. We don't get to play each note twice, so like this. And if you want, you could reverse that. All right, now let's take a look at this this last chunk of the neck. Remember, we started here. Now we know this one, we know this one, we just did this one. Now we're up here, and we're just about to our home base, which is the first scale where it all starts to repeat again, and this is where the solo took place. So this next bit of melodic ideas, these licks, these pentatonic ideas, we'll spend some time working out of this area. So if you look at drill 17, and if you look at the pentatonic diagrams, let me grab this real quick. this pentatonic scales part 2. We're down to the third diagram. So again, we want to identify. We've been honing in on this E note. You know this E note because we did this guy. All right, so we've got that E, this E, and now we've got that E. So those are our root notes. And we've been bending from the 4th to the 5th. We did that one. And we've been playing with this third. Now we're going to find the third on the 3rd string at the 12th fret. That's our G note. And we have a G note right here as well. And that. Okay, so this area, you can play it 2-4, 2-4, 1-4, 1-4, 2-4, 2-4 if you want. Or you could play it 1-3, 1-3. So 1-3 on everything. I think I tend to go 1-3 and then I make the shift to 1-4. Depends on if I'm doing it as a picking exercise or if I'm like kind of jamming along with the recording. So let's take a look at this. Again, remember the E minor pentatonic scale is just the same 5 notes. E, G, A, B, D, E. Now we're starting on the D note, where here we started on the B, here we started on the A, and we just found those 5 notes. So we're starting on the D note, so we get D, E, G, A, B, D, E, G, A, B, D, E. So if we do this as a picking exercise, double picking, resolve it, just get back to the E, okay? And then single pick it. Let's try some hammer-ons. And you can see with this scale, with this pattern, this part of the neck, you have this transition and this stretch that's pretty substantial. So if you're coming down and you're doing these pull-offs, you have to make a decision right here. Are you going to go with 3? And if so, you've got to get back to this first finger. So it's kind of a stretch. People do it all the time, but me personally, I would probably go 3-1, 3-1, 4-1. That's just what I'm used to doing, but there's not a right and a wrong. You just want to get them clean. All right. Okay, now let's put these 3 together. Let's kind of fill in the gaps here. So if we go back to this 5th fret, remember we move up to the next one, come down, move up to the next one, come down, go down, move down. All right, so we're kind of snaking our way up. And a lot of times, when I'm working with students that know the scales and they feel pretty comfortable, like, hey, I know these scales pretty well, they usually know them in one direction, like going across and then coming back down. Well, when you're playing solos, you want more options than just kind of being stuck in like that mode of action. So mixing these up, again, like the athletic thing, as many ways as you can give, challenge your skills and the way that you're responding to a situation, the better off you're going to be. So if you're familiar with these scales, break them up in a way that challenges the way that you play them and the way that you see them on the neck and the way that your fingers respond to them where you are on the neck. So doing stuff like this where you go up one, down the other, up one, now work your way down. And then you can incorporate these other ones as well. And I think I'll give some stuff a little later on, not in this course, but we'll give some technique workout with these scales up the neck and maybe some different keys. Patterns that you would find, that you would be familiar to, in solos and stuff, like different transitions. So that'll probably come later. You can do these with slides, hammer-ons, and pull-offs, but we've been getting a lot of that with the licks that we're learning, so I didn't want to really overdo it here. But I think you get the idea. Now you learn the whole neck. We started down here. We added this. We've got the solo piece, and we've filled all this in. So by now, you should feel pretty comfortable where at least the root notes are located and that third of the chord that we've been playing with. So now let's jump into some new melodic lick ideas in this new part of the neck. All right, so let's take a look at idea 15. So it's at the bottom of page 4. It'll be in that new part of the neck that we just learned. And again, you'll have 2 beats on the front end. It'll give you time to get into the lick. And we've got this E right here. This is our root. We're looking for this G, which is our minor third, and that's where we're going to give the slight pull. So this will be a hammer-on idea. Okay, so 1, 2. Each one of those bends is on a downbeat, so you'll know 3 E and O, 3 E and O, 4, 1, 2, and then you can work on your Hendrix vibrato on the way out, and you've got that rest. So if you want to cut this note off after 1 beat, you don't have to leave it going for 2. It just gives you time to get into the lick, time to get out of the lick, because remember, we want to be very conscious of phrasing. So let's jump into the track, and let's take a look. Let's go back and look at example 4, which is right here. So we're just going to play chords for now, and then we're going to jump into our lick. All right, so let's work it out in the track. Wait 2 beats. 1, 2. Again. So we can take our time with that bend. Now let's kind of start exaggerating it a little bit. So I kind of just milked it a little more. I think it sounds better that way because you have that time. You've got 2 beats, or a beat for each. And remember, experiment with playing hard, soft, and all of that stuff too. Okay. Let's take a look at another one here. We've just got 3 in this position. This one will reverse what we just did. So we'll start on that G. We're going to pull off. Now we're looking for this G. Give it a bend. End up on that same E. So same rhythm. 1, 2. We're just not. You could hit this twice, but the lick is just. All right. All right, so let's try that with the track. So I'm going to play triads low. And then I'm going to play idea 15. And then I'm going to play triads high. And I'm going to play idea 16. So we're going to work in those 2 licks back to back. Here we go. Triads up high. Idea 16. Move back down low. Idea 15. High. Idea 16. Again. Let's do exactly the same thing, but let's do it at the faster tempo. Same routine. Maybe mute a little. All right, let's work on one little other technique here that you'll find pretty common. And we did a similar thing a while ago, but if you look at idea 17, we have this bend at the 10th fret, and I'm going to have you pull off back to that. So we're kind of getting out of this pattern a little bit, but we're also at the top of this pattern, and we're bending to a note that's in the pattern, and then we're coming down and doing that on the 10th fret. So it's that bend from the 4th to the 5th. So I think we did this pull off a similar thing earlier, where you have to bend up, come down, get your fingers out of the way, and get a clean pull off. So you could do this with your third finger. You just have to get that first finger back. You can combine something like, which is what I might do half the time, is bend my third or my fourth. And you can work on that slow bend and get that vibrato on the top. You have all that time there. You've got 2 beats and then a rest, so it should be plenty of time to get out. So let's try another one of our older rhythms. We haven't done this one in a while. Now we're right there, okay? So it'll be make a move. All right, let's try that slow tempo. Try to get that pull off really clean. You can hang out on this last note if you want, because it's an E. Then go. All right, now let's mix up all 3. We're going to do idea 15, 16, 17. And you can do any rhythm you want. I'm going to do a different rhythm. I'll go back to the other. Next one will be 16. Okay, very good.